Sprinkling white or black chia seeds on a shape will grow a pet, and this is mine. I took this skull, sprayed it with water, and added a thin layer of raw seeds on top, and after 30 minutes of hard work, our skull looked like this. The seeds dried up a bit and were ready to start growing. I left it outside, and the next morning our skull looked like this, and it was ready to grow. Of course, I had to spray it consistently 3 times a day. I was excited because 48 hours is usually where growth really starts to happen with chia seeds, and by day 3, the seeds almost looked like they were starting to crack open already. So I monitored it every few hours and everything was looking good. Those restless nights were indeed hard. Had to count sheep to sleep because I just wanted our pet to grow. But soon, the days started to pass, and by day 6 and 7, I noticed the seeds start to sprout open, poke out some green little heads, and finally start to grow. I had to fix it a couple times to make sure they were all even because they were moving around a bit, but I got a bit worried because by day 8, some seeds started to be sprouting faster than others. So we had a nice beard growing, but the forehead was pretty bald. Probably should have called Gramps for some advice, but I just tried to trust the process since chia seeds usually grow so easily, and I let the days pass me by. Soon, we had a nice head of hair, but the face wasn't growing as nicely. And the weather, it was quite rainy, but I decided to keep our pet outside, hoping that the sun would overtake the rain and shine on our pet to grow perfectly. And I was worried because on day 10, what I feared all along, there was a big thunderstorm that hit, and when I woke up, I ran outside to check on him to find this. A true disaster. I knew I should have kept him inside under my grow light. And for a moment there, I thought it was salvageable, but when I realized that it in fact was not, I remembered that nothing on this channel happens without a little bit of trial and error. And as stumped as I was, when we fail, we try again. And you guys let me know that I actually applied the seeds wrong initially. And I think you were right, because the growth was all over the place, and there were just too many seeds. So I guess it's a good thing that the storm happened, because this time, I decided that instead of just spraying the skull and letting the seeds stick to the water, I would listen to you and soak the seeds in water first, turn it into a gel, and then stick them on. So you can bet your bottom that that's what I did. It was time to redo the entire thing after 8 whole days of waiting to bring our chia skull back from the dead. After 30 minutes, the seeds turned into jelly, so I spread them onto the skull and got a fresh new face for our soon-to-be human. But if I'm being frank, it wasn't easy to get them on either way, because the gel started to slide off a bit. But somehow, by the grace of the chia gods, I got a nice, thin, even layer of seeds on, and after a while they dried up and I was able to spread them more, and they were finally ready to grow. I felt more confident this time that the next 8 days would work out way better. But you all were grilling me hard with Lord Chia Demore. Less water, you need a glue-like consistency, your surface is too smooth, sand it down and the seeds will stick better, keep the eyes empty, use toilet paper, use a cheesecloth, use a terracotta pot. But you know what? We try what's difficult, and that's what makes the learning process that much more fun, even if we fail the first time. So anywho, soon, 24 hours passed and the chia seeds immediately started to grow. Of course, I was religiously spritzing it with water and the waiting game continued. The days continued to pass, and this is what I woke up to on day 2. And then day 3 came, and this is what we were working with. Finally, days 4 and 5 came, and you know what? Green hair was growing all over the place, everything was coming together, and I was excited. One of the eyes looked like it was sprouting more quickly than the rest of the skull's face, but I had hope that everything would work out just fine. But it wasn't fine. It was great, because days 5, 6, 7, and 8 passed, and each day the skull kept growing, and honestly, it was in this moment where I felt like a proud mother, because on day 10, I woke up from my slumber, ran outside to check on our chia pet, and to my surprise, found this, a true success. I was so excited, but I realized that I shouldn't have put chia seeds in the eyes, nose, and mouth. You guys were right, but that's okay because I knew in that moment that there was only one more thing we needed to do to resurrect. Reveal the eyes, nose, and teeth. And I had to be very careful here. I started to take them out one by one. Really needed to be cautious not to rip off the rest of the face because all the roots were stuck together. So I used a sharp little knife. First I started with the eyes, then I went down to the nose, and finally the mouth. I didn't really know what it was gonna look like once the face was revealed, but after a while of surgery, this is what we ended up revealing. And I don't know about you, but I thought it looked amazing, and it was well worth the hype of waiting 10 whole days for this thing to grow. Make no mistake, Lord Chia was quite literally thriving. And knowing we beat the odds by doing it our way instead of the normal way felt really good. Of course, I had to admire it since it looked so cool, and listen, I had a good time, okay? Clearly, we succeeded at bringing Lord Chia back from the dead, and I knew if I left it any longer, the chia seeds would start to mold over, so I figured maybe if I peel off the Chia Skull's face mask, we can plant it in some soil to see if we can grow more chia seeds. I wanted to harvest some of the seeds from my salads, but then I got grossed out, so I didn't end up eating those, but it looked pretty cool to see a whole carpet of roots underneath the green sprouts. So we went through a lot with this skull, but we also learned a lot from it and got real confident. And now we all know that it only takes 10 to 12 days to grow your own little pet. So now, I'm sure you can guess that I'm finally ready to cover my toilet.